Hey guys, Coach Jason, hope you're doing well. So today's my fourth video on tapering. I have already done a 4-week taper for a 5K, 4-week taper for a 10K, and 4-week taper for the marathon. Today I'm going to talk about a 4-week taper for the half marathon. Yes, I said 4-week taper. Okay, the philosophy behind it is based in science, based in periodization, also based in 20 plus years of experience as well. But the basic premise of periodization is that it takes 21 to 28 days or 3 to 4 weeks to adapt to a new training stimuli, and that's going up and coming down, with your increasing volume or intensity, and the same thing going down. So if it takes 3 to 4 weeks to adapt, then that essentially means you're holding at a volume or a certain block of training for 3 to 4 weeks. You're not increasing every single week or decreasing every single week. How do you do that? Well, there's a number of different ways. I'm putting the tapering videos down below for the 5K, 10K, and the marathon. I encourage you to take a look at them because it shows you tapers. And I basically do the workouts. Okay, and I just say I lay it out Tuesday and Friday. I lay it out, and then it's up to you as a coach or athlete to plug in the easy runs, the long runs, the steady runs, and so on, your recovery runs. But I'll also put since it's a half marathon taper, I'll put a half marathon training video down below, so you'll see how I break down the training for my athletes, and you'll see how I lay things out. And you'll also see that there's 4-week blocks throughout the training cycle, a consistent pattern of 4 weeks. And the easiest way I can explain it to you is, so let's say your goal is 60 miles per week, and you're training a certain block period of time. So you're taking a few weeks to build up to your goal volume, and then once you're there, you hold at the volume. And even if you do a drop down week every 4th week or something like that, you don't make any drastic changes unless you're going to hold them for 3 to 4 weeks. So if you're building up to 60, and let's say you want to go down to 45 miles at the week of your race, and rather than going 60, 53, 46, 40 or something like that, just keep at 60. You can keep at 60 for 4 weeks out for the last 4-week block, and then you drop down to 45 for the last 3 weeks, and let your athletes stay there. Give them a chance to adapt for a couple of weeks to that lower training volume. It'll freshen up their legs. It'll allow you to do some really, really half marathon specific workouts, and it'll also put them in a position to run the best when they need it the most. Okay, and there's a lot of other things that come into play. I believe in a multi-tiered, more multi-pacing system, meaning you should be addressing all paces. If you're training for the half, you should run stuff in marathon pace, as well as 10K, 5K, 3K mile, stuff like that. If you're training for a 5K, you should be doing stuff at half marathon, and 3K mile, 800 meter pace. The longer you are training at a multi-paced system, the better you're setting yourself up for long-term success, or your athletes. So something to keep in mind. But I'm going to go to my book here, and I'm going to break you down a 4-week taper for the half marathon. I have used things like this, very similar to it. I have used this one exactly. So let's start at 4 weeks out. Tuesday's workout is 2 sets of 6 by 600 with a 200-meter jog after each rep and 5 to 6 minutes in between the set. Okay. The first set of 600 is a 10K pace. The second set is closer to 5K pace. And then Friday's workout is a long run, the 16-mile long run, with 6 miles of it at half marathon pace. Okay. Let's just say your goal pace is 6 minutes. So you run, let's say, 16 miles. You do 8 minutes of steady pace running, and then you do 6 miles of the half marathon pace, and then you cool down a mile or two. Okay, I'm just giving you ballpark numbers here. 16, what you feel is most appropriate for yourself, your athletes, you modify. But this gives you an opportunity now to focus in this last block of training to do something at the end of the week at half marathon pace or slightly faster for a longer period of time, which simulates what that half marathon is going to be like. Okay, and the reason why the reps are short on Tuesday, the 600-meter reps, is because the week prior, I generally, if a race isn't available, if they're not running some kind of race, I have them do a simulation of maybe 7 miles or 8 miles at your goal half marathon pace to see how close they are, and if they're close, how well they recover. Another reason why I do shorter stuff is so that they can recover from the longer efforts. And I do something similar with a marathon simulation of 15 miles, and you'll see in the marathon taper video exactly what I'm talking about. So take a look in that description down below. Okay, that's 4 weeks out. 3 weeks out, the Tuesday workout is 5 times 1.5 miles. Yeah, it's an aggressive workout, but it's an important one. And 2-minute recovery, okay? And they're at goal half marathon pace or slightly faster towards the last 2 reps of goal half marathon pace. So 2-minute recovery. If you need 2:30, take 2:30, depending on how fit and experienced you are and what your goal is. And then Friday's workout, or Saturday, whichever is works better for you, is a 13-mile long run, okay, with the last 5 of them at half marathon pace minus 4 seconds. So let's say you run 7 miles steady, easy and relaxed, then you run 5 miles at the half marathon pace minus 4 seconds. So if again the goal is 6 minutes, you're 5:55, 5:56 per mile, and then the last mile easy. Okay, again simulating running at the goal pace or slightly faster at the end of these runs instead of at the beginning. Okay, 2 weeks out. Last really hard workout. 5 times a mile with a 3-minute recovery at VO2 max. VO2 max is generally about a minute faster or close to a minute faster per mile than goal marathon pace, so it's going to be significantly faster than half marathon pace as well. This is a great workout for marathoners and half marathoners. And then Friday is a 10-mile long run, the last long run, with 4 miles of it at half marathon pace minus 8 seconds. So let's say you run 4 easy or 5 easy, and then you do the 4-mile block and in this case it's 8 seconds faster, so it's 5:52 per mile, and then the last mile or 2 easy. Okay, that's the last kind of long hard effort. And then the week of 5 by 800 meter efforts with a 1-minute recovery at threshold pace, okay, which would be the goal threshold pace based on your half marathon goal. Okay, you should have been able to progress up to this point. How do you know whether the paces are right? Take a look down below as well. I have a video on a 1-mile time trial, which determines your current fitness and your ability at shorter and longer distances. And then how do you set the appropriate training paces for everything based on what you run for the 1-mile time trial. It's a very important video. So please take a look at it. Watch the whole thing. Don't watch half, fast forward stuff. Watch the whole thing because I explain everything. And in my other videos as well, I explain everything. Detailed training programs by the day, by the week, by the month. Okay, so if you're going to watch my videos, I encourage you to watch the whole thing because it's informative and the content is good all the way through. Okay, and that's the goal here, is to make this one of the best running channels out there. I don't want to just give you fluff. I want to give you the substance behind it. Okay, and again, if you haven't subscribed yet, I highly encourage you to do so. It would also mean a lot to me. It would be greatly appreciated. I am trying to continually grow this channel into one of the best ones out there, so your support would be fantastic. And then that Saturday, after the 800 meter efforts, it's go time. Race. 13.1 miles, you know. I generally have folks warm up about a mile. If it's colder, maybe a mile and a half. Sometimes my more fit, my more experienced athletes, no more than 2 miles. Then you do the race and you cool down a little bit on the back end. Just to flush out some of the legs. And that's the 4-week taper. So if you notice, there's some consistency here, okay? The consistency is that long run part at the end. Okay, where you're kind of drilling that pace or slightly faster, but it's a constant pattern. And that's the whole idea here, is to have a pattern. And in the early week workout, you have one to recover from the long simulation the week before, and then you have descending reps. Okay, 1.5 miles, then you cut that by 800 meters. You have the mile reps, and you cut that by 800 meters, and you have 800 meter reps, sharpening the body while maintaining at the same volume. Well, let's say 45 miles per week for the last 3 weeks or something like that, based on your goal. So that's my 4-week taper. Let me know what you think. If you have different ideas of tapers, I've used these types of tapers with a lot of success with my athletes, and over years and years and years, I noticed that when you're increasing every week or decreasing every week, it takes a while. It can throw you off rhythm, and the goal is to keep you in rhythm, especially in half marathons or even marathons. They're longer races, so hitting it right along the way and hitting it right on race day is important. It's not like a 5K. You can't come back next week and do it again and again and again. These require longer recovery. So being as precise as possible in your training is of utmost importance, okay, as well as all the other things too. So I hope you enjoyed this. If it made sense, hit that thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and hit that notification next to it. And you can take a look at about 100 videos that I put out of all different types of stuff that I think you really enjoy, and you're not going to want to miss the next video because I'm going to go over why it's a better idea to run the day before a race than it is to take the day off before the race. It's a very, very, very important video, so I highly encourage you to take a look at it and make sure you hit that notification so you don't miss out when it comes. Be well, be safe, and look out for each other. Talk to you soon.